All right, so we have this 2000 Euro Accord, and from what we know, the customer drove it to the post office, and this is shortly after he purchased it. So he drove it to the post office, and then it didn't want to leave the post office apparently. So I'm gonna just see, see, that's where I fucked up. It's a regular Accord, so I'm on the wrong side. It's funny, because I drove that here. That's my right-hand drive Legnum, so I have absolutely no excuses for what I just did. So the radio turns off and stuff, so that tells me the relay is working. Yeah, I think instead of being out here in the sun, we'll just push it around, because I don't think it's the battery. Everything seems to work. Let me go grab a team of people eager to push cars.
Yeah, you guys should probably get that.
Yeah, go wash your hands.
I'm just gonna grab this.
That works too. You know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. All you needed was some friends. So we have this Euro R pushed in. I am going to just check this because why not? And I do know that this is pretty much the 51 or 51R battery that we have over here. But if it's bad, we'll have to change out the terminals and stuff because we can't get the itty bitty guys. Battery capacity, we're going to do standard. This ain't anything special. And then most of the time the Hondas are just 500 when they're a battery like this. What we got? Key is off. All right, so we have 357 cold cranking amps, but that doesn't, so state of charge, even though it's been off and hasn't started, it's 100, so it's got 12.6 volts, which is perfect. State of health 51, which means, you know, not great. It might be low on water, it might not be. Cold cranking amps, it's at 357, which is less, but it should still try to crank, or at least click the starter. So the next thing we're going to do is, or how I like to do it, is I like to start at the problem and then work my way back through the system. So we're going to go to the starter, and I'm going to get my handy dandy, sorry, my daughter's watching Blue's Clues, so. But my handy dandy DVOM, if you don't know what that is, look it up. And we're going to come here, and we have this little wire. Come on. That goes into the starter. And either the starter just isn't working. Come on, bitch. Well, that's on there. There we go. All right. So we have this wire. So all we're going to do is see if, when we try to start it, power goes here. Would you mind holding that? And then this should stay there. Can you hold that one too? All right, so whenever you do any of this diag stuff, you need 4 hands, all right?
While you're holding it, scratch your nose.
Yeah. No, now it's when the nose gets itchy. All right. Oh, for those of you that don't know, that beep, the Honda beep, is actually Morse code for H.
Oh my goodness.
All right, and does it say anything?
0.19.
Did it change when I turned the key?
Yeah.
It did. So right now it's saying 0.
No.
Oh, it's just saying 0.19 right now?
Yeah.
No change?
Yeah, it's kind of going back. Fluctuating.
Like from what?
From the 0.19 to like 0.24.
Interesting. Okay. So we're not getting 12 volts there. So before we go further on this, I'm going to grab this weird name thing that we did a review on. You can look that up. KGZ Z200 power probe. And we're just going to see if we can get the starter to work. And the nice thing is, we're also going to see if the starter is the only problem here. Oop, wrong way. There we go.
Yeah, that motor.
Color coding.
Familiar.
Right? All right, so we got that. So we're going to clip this onto the little guy of the starter. Okay, so green saying that there is ground through there, so in theory it should work. So we're going to turn the key to the on position. It's not in gear, is it? Nope. Well, battery's not bad, starter's not bad. Someone turn it off. All right, so we know that works at least past the wire and everything else in the car. So next is I'm going to try and find where the starter relay is. Heater motor relay. Okay. So that one is clicking. Do it again. Okay. So that's not the starter. And it makes sense that it's turning off because it's the other thing too. When you go to start your car and you have the blower motor fan on or whatever, it'll turn off. So we might be looking under the dash now. So these, it's a manual, have a neutral safety switch on the clutch pedal. And that, one, it does tell you to start, so it turning on and off, whatever, tells me that that should be working, because it shouldn't do any of that without knowing that you're in a safe mode to do it. But they have stuff that will pop off, the little plastic thing that it touches. It'll fall off or whatever from old age. I just want to make sure that it's there. Oh. And we do have a piece of plastic down here that... And it is broken. So this is the little piece that I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do here... Okay, so I have the clutch switch unplugged, and that's still clicking, which means that that's not doing it. So I'm going to grab something to jump those for the clutch switch. Because even though I push the button in, doesn't mean that the actual switch is working. And plus, the clutch pedal has that piece broken off of it, which means there's just a hole. So it's not actually pushing the button anyways to tell it to start. So I'm going to do that, right? It's jumped now. I don't have to push the button with my finger. However, I'm going to go plug the starter back in.
No.
Because I forgot that I unplugged it. All right. Now that it's easily done, I don't have to crawl under there and do it. Ugh. Look at that. So we are going to look over the car like we did in the past with other JDM cars that we get in. And then he does want the ride height adjusted because it's a little too low for his daily driver needs. So we're going to raise it a little bit, and then we'll do an alignment, or I'll have the guys do an alignment. So if you have an old Honda, especially, well, I mean, this one has 234,000 kilometers on it, which is, I don't know, it's probably like somewhere around 150. Yeah, like 150, 170,000 miles. It's not, you know, it's not a terrible amount for these things, but these little plastic buggers, they break all the time. So what I do is I'm going to see if I can find one, because it should just be the same as any other Honda. We might be able to find one. If we can't, I just get a 10 mil bolt and a nut and put it on there, tighten the nut, you know, not as tight as I can get it, but tight. And then now it's not plastic and it'll never break. We're gonna do a general inspection on the car and just let him know anything we see, because as far as I know too, he just got the car, which, you know, first outing, that happens. Start to lose faith in it. So I was like, well, I'll look over it and I'll let you know if there's anything I see that's concerning. All right, I would say we should do that. There's pressure in this because we just had it running. Coolant doesn't look bad. Looks actually rather new. Brake fluid looks newer. The intake tube looks, oh yeah, it is. It is torn. Looks like passenger side axle is leaking. Ooh. Driver side axle is leaking. Mount doesn't look bad. Does this have any information on timing belt? So with that, I only recommend, like, I don't know when it was done. You don't know when it was done. We should probably do a timing belt just to make sure it doesn't snap, because these are interference engines. So being in Tucson, Arizona, we need to have AC. I already hit my head on that once. You didn't get to see it, but I'm doing it again. So this is a good test for AC, because it might be cold, he might be enjoying it or whatever, but should not sound like a soda when you open it. So the valves are leaking, which means if he's happy with the AC, it could be better. This one? Yep. Both of them are leaking. Very common. So we'll lift it up and see what we got from underneath. We're gonna check wheel bearings and stuff. I've also learned on these that shaking isn't everything. You gotta spin them too. Solid, solid. Sounds okay. How's that side? You hear any grinding or any? Let's check the rears, just because you could have bad wheel bearings in the rear. Uh-oh. Okay, this side's good. That's not good. All right, so I'm gonna show you what I saw. No bueno. All right, where is my light? That's kind of what I'm thinking. All right, so he's gonna shake this one. Go over there. Yep, so the coilover is loose. And so is the upper ball joint. So this arm right here has a ball joint on it. That is just rocking away. Which, I mean, the coilover is moving actually, but it might not be loose. It might just be pivoting, because this upper ball joint is supposed to hold the knuckle. So let's go look at the other side. Stop it. I did, because you were still rocking it. Oh. All right. Yeah, so the coilover is wiggling, but that's only because it can. The upper ball joint is bad on this side too for the upper control arm. All right, let's go write that down. And then if you could take off the wheels. So we've got some Godspeed Max coilovers on this. The brakes look like they were just replaced. I say just, but apparently they got a lot of rust on them. They might have just pad slapped it actually. Always a possibility. But the pads are definitely big, and there's a ton of rust on all this stuff. Ooh, this side you can see that axle. We'll go with it's a no good. Oh, nice. So this is the upper control arm that we were talking about. You can see the ball joint right here. And yeah, it shouldn't move like that. Anything else? These brakes are not as new, but still okay. The other thing I've learned is you should always look at both sides for the brakes, because you don't know how lazy someone was. Doesn't mean they replaced everything at the same time. I've actually seen where one side was new and the other side was almost metal to metal. Yeah, this axle looks the same. It is well blown out. All right, we're going to go up and finish out our inspection, and then we'll adjust the coilovers on this. We got some scrapes. I don't see any leaks. Other than that, I do see this has what looks like an old Japanese oil filter, so I will recommend an oil change. Transmission fluid. It looks like it, well, no, it just could be clean, but it looks like it has newer crush washers on them. Sorry, I stepped on Steve's foot. This might have had all the fluids done before he bought it, which would be wonderful for him. Oh my gosh, that's super cool. Although you will never find it probably. This is a 2000 Acura Accord with an electric power steering rack. I think that's about it. We got everything for the inspection. So now we're going to bring it down and then we're going to adjust the coilovers. He said that he wants it a little higher. I'm thinking like 1/2 inch. That'll usually get it to where it's, you know, not super low and you can go over speed bumps and stuff like that, because it wasn't super low when it kind of came in. It wasn't really tucking tire, but it was close. We measured from the floor to the top of the arch, which I know some people say to do from the center of the axle nut or whatever to the top of the arch, but I do it from the floor. So these are our measurements. Front of the car, right, left, right, left. And so we want to raise this 1/2 inch. Now, I don't want to raise it so that it's still uneven. If we raise this one to 1/2 inch and then we want to make everything else even, it would be 23 15/16. Now that bothers me because of, I don't know, whatever autism I have. So we're just going to do 24 inches. And so this is going to go up 9/16. This is going to go up 7/16, and so on, to make these numbers all 24. And then it might take some driving around to get it to completely settle to where it is, and we can actually see how close we are. But usually doing that, I can get it within 1/16 all the way around the car, which is more than close enough. So now that we have our idea of how much we have to raise everything, we want it to be 24 all the way around. So this one is 23 7/16. So we need to add 9/16 to whatever this number is. If you haven't done any of these coilover adjustment videos, I have other coilover videos that we've done, like we have one on a Porsche and some other stuff. But when you adjust the height, do not touch these. These should stay where they are. This whole thing should spin. This is the only one you touch, because these are preload. So this is essentially ride quality. This is ride height. So we have a decent amount to go on this one. However, this is the furthest away from our number we want. Almost. We have to go another 16th. So as I do in my other coilover videos, we set this one and then go get a flathead and a hammer and give it a good old thwack, because, you know, you can push with that, but I've seen them come loose. They've come loose on me unless I do that, and we're good. We got this one side done. I'm gonna do the other 3, and then we're gonna get it aligned. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, keep it JDM.